Hi, Jonah. Can you hear me? Hi, Lee. Can you hear me as well? Tom? Just doing a mic check. Can you all hear me? Perfect. Merry Christmas. What do those crown things mean? What's a crown thing? Morning. Anyone explain to me what the crown means with the number next to it? No worries, Lee. Connecticut. Wonderful. Whereabouts, Tom, if you don't mind me asking? Connecticut, Northeast America. Oh, top commenter. Oh, right. Okay. Well done, you. Well done, everyone, for being top commenters. Cool. Four people. Let's do it. I've got a poem to share, um, with a little piece of wrapping paper as a bookmark. Hi, Kayleen, in Melbourne. What's the other name for Melbourne? I can't remember. Sorry, shame on me. Tom, Oxford County. Cool. You've projected me on the telly, so you're gonna get all the spots. I had a big spot in my Christmas video that I posted yesterday. Hopefully, you didn't notice it, like right on the end of my nose, and I did think of making a joke about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, but I thought, no, I better not do that. So yeah, you can see all my spots, Shona, in 3D surround sound. Oh, sorry, Oxford, Connecticut. Sorry, because that's how you do it in the States. You take the first letter and the last letter, like Pennsylvania, PA. Yeah, I get it. Sorry. Um, cool. Yeah, I'm pleasantly sober. No, I'm sober. I'm pleasantly not hungover. So if I'm seeming a little bit more cheerful than I normally am, because I'm not suffering the after effects of alcohol. I was very reserved yesterday because I overdid it on Christmas Eve because I just couldn't bear the wrapping of presents without a drink. And then the wrapping took much longer than I anticipated. I don't know why, because I know it's going to take me a long time. Um, I should have realized that by now. And by the time I finished my wrapping, I was worse for wear. So I just couldn't really drink too much yesterday, which is good because I'm able to string a sentence together in this live stream. Well, let's see how we get on. And I'm going to clock off at about 11:30 British time, just so you know, because I am going to watch the next installment of Stranger Things. My daughter was not impressed when I told her last night that I was going to do this at 10 o'clock today, because she said, "Well, hang on, we're going to watch Stranger Things." I was like, "Well, I didn't know that." So I've just watched the first episode, or rather, episode 5 of season 5, and hopefully my daughter's going to wake up soon. And then by the time I'm finished this, I'll go down and watch the sixth episode and then the seventh episode, and we'll all be caught up together. So just to share that with you. So yeah, I'm going to be about an hour and a half, if that's okay with you guys. We'll see how we get on. Um, can't see any spots. Grand. Cool. Because I'm super vain. If you've been here before and you've seen any of my videos, the very fact that I make YouTube videos suggests a degree of vanity. Um, so yeah, clearly I'm concerned. It's weird actually, because I'm not really that bothered about my physical appearance, generally speaking. Um, but when I watch videos back when I'm editing, I'm like, oh no, ah, I look awful because yeah, I don't look in the mirror. I don't brush my hair. I just don't like looking at myself, which is a very strange thing to say when I make all these YouTube videos. But I weigh up the pros and cons. I'm like, I'm gonna look awful, and my face is gonna be on the internet, but I'm gonna have lovely chats like this and meet fantastic people from Melbourne, Connecticut. I just makes my day. So yeah, thank you for being here. Niece's husband has ADHD and spends as long unwrapping as wrapping, even tries to keep sticky tape. Cool, I understand that. I mean, I like to preserve the wrapping paper because I don't like waste. I just don't like it. So I like to recycle if I can. So I understand carefully, unwrapping so you can preserve the wrapping paper to reuse it. Yeah, I don't think I'm the only one who does that. Um, Let me just catch up in the comments. We've got 6 people in the room. It's nice and cozy. Let's carry on. Um, yeah, a few glasses of wine yesterday helped. Also, only drank water after 7 p.m. Had similar with chocolate. I've had to abstain to a few days, started to sleep better. Does chocolate affect your sleep, Lee? Is that a thing? I don't know. But obviously, what you drink does have an effect on our sleeping patterns. I find it quite difficult because um, drinking knocks me out. Not knocks me out, but you know what I mean. Makes me more sleepy. But then I wake up and I don't feel rested because it's not great sleep. But if I don't drink, some nights when I don't drink, um, I just really struggle to sleep, and then I'm tired the next day because I've not slept. So so yeah, it's a tricky one. Shoni, wish you could speak into the phone and the words would appear here. Um, I'm sure there's technology out there. I'm not the tech expert by any means, but yeah, sorry, I'm not sure what to do about that. Hi Neil, great video yesterday. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's a bit of a random, but quickly cobbled together. I say quickly, it took me about 5 hours, which I'm not trying to get praise for. I'm just saying that, um, yeah, it takes me ages to edit these things. You wouldn't think it because I'm just moaning. I'm just looking at the camera. I'm just moaning. Ugh. And you think, well, why would it take you so long to edit? It just does. I'm just putting in the thumbnails, no, not thumbnails, like chapter pictures. I'm not being very articulate, actually. I thought I would be. I'm not. Um, I just thought it'd be a fun thing to do. I was inspired to make a Christmas video by great blog by a person I keep mentioning, but he's my main inspiration for doing this. Without Paul, I probably wouldn't be making these videos and doing these live streams. So Paul, adult with autism, who has been making videos about 4 or 5 years now, and he started a Substack, um, and he wrote really, really fun, entertaining Substack post about Christmas 2 or 3 days ago. It was really, really fun. Check it out. And it's just so well written. He's just brilliant at writing. And I thought, yeah, I'm going to do a Christmas video because Paul's got me thinking about Christmas from an autistic point of view. So yeah, thank you, Neil. I really appreciate that. I didn't, yeah, I didn't really go to town on that video. I just quickly made it, you know, taking into account the edit that took me more time than I wanted it to. Um, Let me catch up on the chat. Um, Hi, Helen. Sorry, I just missed you there. Hello. Hope you're well. Merry Christmas. Um, Chocolate irritates my tummy and gives me indigestion at night. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, stomach problems. Oh, crikey. I never get used to them. I have stomach problems all the time because I'm autistic in a neurotypical world, so I'm permanently anxious, um, which I only recently realized is the cause, well, I believe is the main cause of my own stomach problems. But yes, but having said that, certain foods, definitely I've noticed a correlation between certain foods and, shall we say, my flatulence. So we're about 10 minutes in, and I've mentioned farting already. So yeah, that's pretty good going for me. Usually I mention farting within the first 2 minutes. So if you're here for references to Breaking Wind and just general toilet humor, then you're in the right place. Um, So yeah, sorry Lee, but I'm with you on the stomach problems from an autistic point of view. just never get used to them. Yeah, yeah, it's just an irritation. Sport video is really good. I very foolishly thought you'd be talking about football. Um, Thank you, Shona. I did talk about football to an extent, didn't I? Yeah, but I just wish that I could play it. But yeah, you can't be good at everything. I can do this flawlessly, but I can't play football, or in fact, any team sport really. My sense of coordination and um, processing, I think, and thinking about and processing a thought about processing. Things happen too quickly on the pitch, and I need to be able to prepare. Don't know why I didn't talk about this more in the video about sport. Um, Having said that, yeah, table tennis. Why do I get on with table tennis? Because that's happening pretty quickly, isn't it? Oh well, I'll wonder about that another time. But yeah, football. I follow a team, Aberdeen. I watch highlights, but money spoilt the game. But that's a whinge for another day. Um, Tom, you discovered my channel because of Paul's recommendation. Oh, wonderful. Yeah, I really appreciate the shout out from Paul. Um, yeah, like I said, he got me started. I work in the same company as Paul. So I found out about Paul and his YouTube work when I posted a message about autism on a staff notice board, like a virtual staff notice board. And he popped up and said, "Oh, by the way, I make YouTube videos." And I have to confess, at that moment, I thought, "Yeah, yeah, good on you. Yeah, I'm not sure that's really my sort of thing." Because I don't know why I thought that really. And then I obviously searched his channel, and I was like, "Blimey, you know what you're doing, mate, don't you?" And yeah, I'm clearly jealous of the reach that Paul has achieved, and he's inspired so many people. So I can't speak highly enough of him. So yeah, I'll give Paul a shout out whenever I can because he got me started on this, and he's enabled me to connect with wonderful people like you, and made me feel more comfortable as an autistic person. Because I make YouTube videos to for that selfish reason, to feel better about myself as an autistic person, and obviously to connect with other autistic people and make them feel better, hopefully. And I don't always get it right. And someone criticized me the other day for speaking on behalf of autistic people, and I try to emphasize that that's not what I'm doing. I'm just adding my voice, um, but inevitably hoping to say things that are relatable to other autistic people. So I am careful about saying, you know, this is my autistic experience. If it resonates with you, then great. That's a massive reason why I'm making the YouTube videos. But I'm careful not to say I am the autism authority because I'm just one autistic person. So anyway, sorry that's a bit preachy, but if you've been here before, you know that I get into that mode. Very earnest. Someone said I was earnest. That is absolutely correct. I'm quite embarrassed by that. I'm earnest, but that's just who I am. So, um, showing you can barely catch a ball. Yeah, I'm really good at catching. I don't know why. I don't know what when I played cricket, which is a thing in England. Sorry, I just realised the reflection on my glasses. Get rid of that. I should have realised that 14 minutes ago. So you can see my tired eyes. Um, Sorry about that. I haven't figured out lighting, and I might never figure it out. Um, yeah, catching a ball, cricket. So I used to be a good fielder, but I couldn't do like the most important things, which is bowl and bat. You know, quite a flaw that really. Um, But you can't be good at everything, can we? So you can barely catch a ball, but Shona, I bet you're great at loads of other things. Mark, yes, so exhausted, lack of sleep. I disappeared for a nap, missed dessert. All three of them. All three desserts. Nice. Good to see you. And yeah, sorry about your dessert mishap. Um, Pardalote. Farting is natural. We don't have to pretend it's not in this live stream. That's really funny and true. Yeah, I like that. Yay for farting. Grand. I'm glad. Thank you for that endorsement of Breaking Wind. That's wonderful. Um, shown I think running quick and speedy table tennis is actually soothing because of the fast pace, so that sounds contradictory, all about quick rhythm. Um, I definitely agree with that in terms of running. Um, running, it is very rhythmical, I can barely say that word. I mean, it's hard work, of course it is, but it's repetitive, it's predictable, it's autism friendly, and I do understand that a lot of autistic people can't run. If you're physically disabled and you're autistic, you can't run. I'm just making the point that there are elements of running that to me as an autistic person are very appealing. But I do get also that plenty of neurotypical people enjoy running as well. It's not solely for autistic people. But it's taken me years to realize that there are many aspects of running that appeal to me because I am autistic, and I got quite good at it. Um, I believe because of my autistic mind, you know. And yes, you can say, well, but what about your physical ability? You know, surely it's not all about mind. Of course not. I'm very small and light, and that obviously works well for running. Um, but yeah, the mindset to train so much was I would ascribe to me being autistic slash ADHD, needing to do stuff, um, always be productive, can't relax. Um, Tom, I'm also a runner. That's another reason I relate to you. It's great for the mind. Fantastic. What's your distance, Tom? Do you have a distance, a preference in terms of how far you run, or you, how serious are you about running? Not that it's competition. Are you a casual recreational runner, or you are college runner? Um, I'm just interested. I'm not trying to compare. I'm just interested. We've got 13 people in the room. I better be more entertaining then. Bigger audience. Um, Let me just catch up on the chat. If you weren't here a few minutes ago, just to say that I'm going to aim to finish at about 11:30 UK time. So this is not going to be a 4.5 hour marathon. Accidental running analogy there. Uh, that's my record, or it's 4 hours 45 minutes I did once. That's not going to happen today. I'm under strict orders to keep it within the time because I'm going to watch episode 6 of season 5 of Stranger Things, and I'm not going to explain all of that again. Um, Kayleen, when I was in high school, our teacher taught us to count our steps to enable us to push harder. Bit weird, but it worked. You like cross country? Arthritis stopped this some years ago. Cool. Yeah, I think that's a positive tale of high school. I think high school or secondary school in the UK is unfortunately a common reason why people don't pursue sports, and because they've been scarred by unpleasant teachers and you know, just the sport environment being fairly aggressive. I don't know, plenty of reasons why people are turned off sport at school, sadly. I didn't run at all in my 20s, and it's a big regret of mine because um, I like to think that if I had run during my 20s, I would have been, you know, at a fairly good level of running, like more high level than I achieved in my late 30s. But, you know, can't turn back the clock. It's just the way it was. But yeah, I really wish I'd taken more of an interest in running when I was younger because I started at 30 and I was like, oh wow, I'm enjoying this, and then maybe took it too seriously. So, and I think the reason I didn't pursue it in my 20s, well, one reason was because I didn't especially enjoy sport at school, other than table tennis, which I did outside of school. I paid for my own table tennis lessons. Um, so yeah, I did that outside of PE at school. Um, Tom, you've done two full marathons, and wow, a typical distance about 840 mile runs in summer weather. That's really impressive. I've never run a marathon. I'm actually scared to run a marathon. Um, I'm going to share a trigger warning. I'm going to share a story about a friend of mine, not a very close friend, but a member of my running club, and you know, he's still here. Just going to put that out there. But unfortunately, he ran a marathon. He ran a marathon, London Marathon, earlier this year, and he had a stroke. And he's recovering now. He's doing well, but you know, it's a punishing effort. and I am in awe of anyone who attempts a marathon. To run 2 marathons is 2 more than I probably ever will. So yeah, be careful if you are considering running that, such a long distance. I mean, 8 miles is a long way, um, but a marathon, that's more than 3 times, yeah, 3 times. Just superhuman effort. So well done, Tom, but be careful, everyone, because yeah, maybe I'm oversharing there, but that's what I do in a live stream. I was able to get sailing as a sport by telling physical ed I'd teach him how to rig his boat. He didn't know how to sail. My winter sport was chess. Wow, sailing, what a skill. I can't imagine how complex that would be. There's so much going on. Fair play, Kayleen. And just to relate to that as well, I played my first game of chess last night, played against my daughter. Uh, I think it's the first chess match for me, since 1998. And I played, uh, well, did I play? I just watched as my friend got soundly beaten by an 8-year-old in Switzerland on a massive chessboard, like on the floor. It was a beautiful sunny day, chessboard. You know what I'm talking about. Is it in a park? Huge chess pieces, and an 8-year-old. I'll never forget it. He strode up to us, my friend Chris and I, and we were traveling around Europe. I was 16. I was ridiculously young to be doing that. And anyway, he said, "I will beat you in 4 moves." And my friend Chris and I went, "That's not going to happen. You can't do that." And he did. And I obviously got stung by that experience to the extent that I didn't play chess until between 1998, August 98, until last night. And I got beaten again by my daughter. So yeah, chess not something I'm good at all. Um, so fair play to you, Kaylin. I bet you're really good at it. So I'm up there with a chat. I might need to share a poem, um, just to give you time to think about some things you want to share about Christmas or autism or anything at all. Because although this is a Boxing Day live stream, I'm not planning on talking about Christmas stuff specifically. As you can tell, if you've been here for 23 minutes or just joined me, you know it's not going to be specifically Christmas themed. Although to talk about Christmas and autism, just want to share the fact that I got this book. I'm not being commissioned, by the way. I'm not sponsored even. I'm not being sponsored by Pierre Novelli to share his book. I'm not being sponsored by, I don't even know, the publisher. What's the name? I'm being really sad now. Bonnier Books. Bonnier Books. I'm not being sponsored by them or Pierre Novelli. Um, but Pierre Novelli is an autistic comedian, um, with South African. He's South African, but he's grew up in the Isle of Man, where Mike at Autistic AF lives. And I've been going to my local library to find this book pretty much all year, and it's never been there. And I've not seen it in the shops. And my wife found it just before Christmas. And actually, I'm going to share a little bit at the beginning. And I've only read a few pages, and I'm really enjoying it. And I know that what I'm about to share is quite contentious, but it's one of those sort of figurative hills that I'm going to die on, I think. Um, Said, a brief note on terminology. I use Asperger's syndrome when quoting or describing people or conversations that use the term. Otherwise, I will use autism and autism spectrum and avoid, where possible, using ASD or autism spectrum disorder in order to avoid legitimizing the idea of a disorder as opposed to simply a different neurotype. So there we are. I know it's contentious. Yeah, because I talk about autism as a difference rather than a disorder. I appreciate that not everyone shares that view. And just reading that out loud, it's reminded me how complex his sentence construction is. He's a very intelligent man. And I'm ADHD, so I really struggle to read books. I struggle to read anything because I'm so distracted all the time. So there's clause upon clause upon clause. There's a very bad Christmas joke there. I'm not going to make it. And yeah, it's so far so good. I'd check it out if you're that way inclined to read books about autism. Yeah, and it's quite tricky to read, but really, really authentic, highly relatable to me, and yeah, fair play, Pierre Novelli. So that's a Christmas tip there. But I was going to share a poem. And I got here distracted. I got distracted. But let me just see what you've said while I was chuntering on. Clay de Soleil. Oh, of course, it's Lizzie. Lizzie timed it perfectly because I'm just about to share the poem that you asked me to share. Um, my comments aren't come through as I suspected last time, but if you switch to live chat instead of top chat, you should see them, plus others that met. Oh, okay. If I switch to live chat instead of chop chat, what's chop chat? Anyway. Um, okay. If you switch to live chat instead of top chat, you should see them, plus others that, okay. Others that may be invisible. Okay, well, good to see you, Lizzie. Happy Christmas. Go and see everyone. Another autism channel that I'm regularly plugging. Big inspiration to me. Oh no, I've got it wrong. Creative. Sorry, I'll try again, everyone. Can't do two things at once. Creative Autistic. Go and see Lizzie's channel after this live stream. Um, because it's amazing. And Lizzie, I haven't possibly been able to catch up on all your Christmas videos because Lizzie's done a video every day Christmas. She's relentlessly productive. I don't know how she does it. Um, but the ones that I have watched, I've really enjoyed. Um, what prompted me? Yeah, Lizzie talked about Truth or Dare, and that reminded me of a poem by brilliant poet called Caroline Bird. And Caroline Bird wrote a viral poem. I mean, poetry is a niche pursuit, let's be honest. I love poetry, but I'm not going to pretend to read it every day. Um, and yeah, I realize it's not a mainstream pastime. A big reason why poetry appeals to me is because it's mostly bite-sized, and my brain can cope with reading in small chunks. It's taken me until finding out that I'm autistic to realize that's one reason why I like poetry, because I'm ADHD as well. I can't read for too long. Um, so it's one reason why I love poetry. Caroline Bird published this book last year, Ambush at Still Lake, and it's just so funny. Um, Really, really clever. And I'm going to share a poem about truth or dare, inspired by Lizzie's mention of it in one of her videos, recent videos. And I've lost my place, which is typical. Bear with me, everyone. Talk amongst yourselves. Um, we've all been there, it's called. We've all been there. Okay, I'm going to rattle through this. Okay, in Truth or Dare, if everyone picks truth, it's undaring to pick dare. Sam went first, tucking his chin as if recoiling from his own kiss. I stomp on snails in the park because I love the crunch, he said, going big too soon. Silence. I couldn't bear it. Oh, Sam, I said on everyone's behalf, everyone massacres snails for pleasure. In truth, I'd never dream of such a thing, but I wanted to make him feel normal. Joe next. She'd self-published a children's book featuring a foul-mouthed vulva called Slash. Don't be embarrassed, Joe, I said. We've all penned a tale about swearing genitals for the under five market. I wrote one about a singing severed penis called Hopalong. I hadn't, obviously, but Joe looked at me with a kindred warmth. Bob's turn. Relax, Bob, I said. Everyone showers with their sister as an adult. It's a bit darker than I remember. Sorry, guys. I felt I was playing two games at once. Truth plus this sort of mindless empathy I'd invented. Who among us has not stolen a bottle of liquid morphine from our cancer-stricken mother-in-law, decanted it into a Fanta can, and sipped it during our niece's wedding, Christina? The room swelled with acceptance, like a sedated hippo giving birth in her sleep. And just as I was starting to lag, counting heads, thinking how many sins were left to falsely claim as my own, Sam jumped in. Oh, Paul, he cried. Everyone's filmed a homeless man drowning in Skyros. Have we? I thought. Bob and Joe both avowed. We all let our toddlers play with unwashed anal beads, so chill out, Elizabeth. I couldn't tell if they were serious, but the mood had turned competitive, wild. Everyone striving to boldly confess or personally relate to the worst things possible. Annie, sweetie, who hasn't shared a taxi with her best friend's rapist after a book launch since she wasn't there and splitting the fare was cheaper? High fives occurred. People joined in. Neighbours, meter readers, door to door canvassers. Everyone hates the poor and everyone chokes women. Anne begged for a second go, forgetting the time she king punched a deer. Whatever the admission, hit and run, elder abuse, someone in our cohort would scream, "Me too," or snap. I longed to draw a circle around my feet with a stick of chalk to mark some kind of mystic wall between me and this orgy of awful confessors, cheeks greasy with laughter, eyes black as melanite. Then it was my turn. Say anything, they said. We've all been there. Had they? This group of colleagues and strangers? I pictured them lounging in the background of my gravest errors, mouthing, "Go on," like extras in a recurring dream. My chorus line of negligent angels, jaded from centuries of witnessing firstborn slain on slabs, palpable darkness, locust swarms thick as bomb-proof doors, who now mooch the earth, shrugging their wings, handing out little business cards printed with halos to humans bad enough to forgive them. Done. I hope you enjoyed that. A lot darker than I remember it. I apologize for some quite grim subjects. Probably ought to have done a practice read before I read it just now. Caroline Bird, everyone. Ambush at Still Lake. Again, I'm not being sponsored to share. I've lost one viewer while I was reading that. Um, Not a poetry fan, clearly. So yeah. Um, Lee. Oh God, I can hear the Stranger Things theme music filtering through the ceiling because my family are watching the episode that I've just watched. So yeah, if you hear sinister sounds in addition to that rather sinister poem, then you know that it's Stranger Things below me, literally. Um, Autistic. Yes, what's his name? Quinn. Quinn at Autistic. Thank you, Lee. Yeah, go and check him out as well. I've watched a few of his videos. He's very thorough, very academic. Um, and I really ought to spend more time watching his videos. But again, I struggle with the longer videos, I have to confess, which is quite hypocritical because I sometimes make videos up to 20 minutes long. Um, but yeah, and Paul, what was I saying? Because Paul makes videos that are 29 minutes, half an hour, and I watch those. Anyway, uh, Autistic, go and watch. Very well informed. And there was one I watched recently. He really humanized autism. I think it's probably the highest compliment I can give any autism channel, to be honest. Someone that humanizes autistic people. And Quinn at Autistic, in the video that I watched recently, he did that brilliantly. So yeah, good shout, Lee. Um, so you've all gone quiet. So I'm gonna have to think of something interesting, funny, or both to say. I'll ask you a question then. Any funny things to say about no worries, Lee. Any funny things to say about Christmas? Any serious things to say about Christmas? The day yesterday, or just the concept of Christmas? Share your thoughts. I did say it wouldn't be about Christmas, but I'm thinking on my feet because you've all gone quiet, and otherwise I'll just sit here and look at the laptop and go, "Oh dear, what are we going to talk about?" So yeah, Christmas. Tell me, did you get any nice presents? Did you? Did anyone say anything awful or funny? Um, or just matter like the content, but the sound effects are too much for the likes of me. Not really noticed that, to be fair, but like I said, I've only watched a few of Quinn's videos. Um, I often think about my videos when I watch them back that there should be more sound effects. But when I say that, what I'm really talking about is more fart noises. Um, so start with um, the desire to have a fart noise in a video, and then build the subject matter around the fart, which is the exact opposite, of course, of how you should do these things. Um, I'm going to share a slightly funny and embarrassing story. I used to work in the careers department at my local university, and I used to teach. I used to teach, and this is bizarre when I think about it, because I'm dreadful at interviews. I'm autistic. There's a double empathy problem. The interview panel generally is neurotypical, and it's taken me 40 plus years to realize that I'm disadvantaged at interviews for jobs because I'm autistic, because there's a double empathy problem. I'm not as likable as a neurotypical person in the eyes of a neurotypical panel, because there's just this uncanny valley effect of me being autistic, um, monotonous voice, honest, no bullshit, just this is me. These are the skills that I have. This is what I can do. This is what I can't do. Probably oversharing in interviews like I'm doing now. And I realize now that I've not been hired for jobs, but I would say not just because I don't have the skills, but because I am autistic. So yeah, that's a bit of a sob story from me, but there we are. But the story I wanted to share was the fact that I used to do these sessions for university students about interview technique, and applications for job. And I was desperate to share funny memes that I'd found about, I'm gonna have to find one now. You know the ones I'm talking about. It's oh, where is it? You know what, the interview, and they got the speech bubble, and if I was gifted like Mike at Autistic AF, I'd be able to share two screens at once, but I'm not, because I'm just making it up as I go along. Interview me. Let's see what comes up when I do that. Oh yeah, here we are. Um, there we are. So tell us a little bit about yourself. I'd rather not. I really need this job. I mean, that's a good one. But they're all good. Um, so why do you want this job? Well, I've always felt passionately about not starving to death, and so on and so on. You get the picture. So I was desperate to share like a selection of these interview memes because I thought they were hilarious. And I crowbarred them into my session plan, and I'll never forget the reaction of the students. There were about 10 students, you know, in their late teens, early 20s, maybe a couple of mature students. And it was like the worst tumbleweed moment. I was certain in my head that these memes were going to create hilarity, and people were going to go, "Oh, well played! Oh, more hilarity, please!" But they just looked at me like, "What are you doing? That is deeply inappropriate. That's not funny at all." So that taught me a lesson to not crowbar a resource into a session or a YouTube video because you just love it so much. It needs to serve the content, it needs to serve the topic. So as much as I love fart noises, they have to be within context. There needs to be some sort of thought into the farts. Just not something I thought I would say today. You can't just start off with, I want to share fart noises, and then the subject matter will follow through. Um, you need to have the subject first, the objectives, the lesson objectives, the YouTube video objectives. What am I trying to get across here? And then if a fart noise will help convey the message, then the fart noise is included. That's the order of things. Just in case you were in any doubt and you needed me to elaborate on that, I learned through bitter experience. I will not share ridiculous memes just because I find them funny when I'm trying to deliver a session on interview techniques, which I realize I'm not the best qualified for anyway, because I'm autistic in a world designed for neurotypical people, and interview techniques aren't sufficient for someone like me to pass the interview. I need to mask, pretend. And I know interviews are about pretending. Um, it's the elephant in the room, isn't it? It's the, interviews, you're not really being sincere, which is a really grates on me as an autistic person, because I always want to be sincere. I hate pretense, insincerity, sucking up to people. Yeah, I want to just be direct down the line, but honest. You know, let's not hide things. But interviews is kind of they're designed to facilitate this acting. And I've realised along the throughout the years that I need to play that game to some extent. I'm not ever going to be perfectly good at it because I'm autistic, and the honesty shines through because I'm so worthy and earnest. So hopefully that was fun, and you've had time to think of some fascinating comments or not. You're, yeah, sorry, that wasn't meant to be a dig, by the way. Um, Ricky, I see you have 12 disciples. Oh, it's 13 now. Never mind. I'm a bit lost there, Ricky. Oh no, oh, you're talking about the. I was going to say body count. That doesn't sound good, does it? The amount of people in the live stream. Um, you've got 9 now. So obviously I've alienated people with my extended tale about leading career sessions. Sorry, everyone, that's not the content you're here for. I should have commented on, by the way, on my Christmas gift. I hope you like it. It's it's a it's a blanket sort of onesie. So just in case you're wondering if I've been swallowed by a cushion, I literally have. It's basically a cushion. Um, so yeah, cool. So that's one of my main Christmas presents. So I hope you like it. Just if you're wondering what the hell I'm wearing, it's very cozy. And my wife said, "You're probably going to wear that forever now." And she's correct. I'm going to stroll into the open plan office, and people are going to look at me even more inquisitively than they normally would and go, what's the autistic guy doing? Why is he dressed like a cushion? I'll be like, it's my Christmas present. It is comfort, and comfort as an autistic person is very important to me. So is it affecting you? No. We're all good then, aren't we? I'm comfortable. It's not having any impact on you. Let's crack on with the day job. But as we know, as autistic people, it's not always that simple. And no, I will not be going into the open plan office wearing this. That I will not, as much as I would love to. But it is an incentive to work from home more often than I already do. I will be honest about that. I work from home as much as I can because for all the obvious autistic related reasons. But this is another reason to work from home. Why are you working from home today? Because I want to dress up as a cushion. Okay, fine. You do you. Okay, I will. Um, right, let's catch up. Um, our Christmases here in Australia are in the summer. Yeah, I still have to sort of wrap my head around that. It's hot during Christmas. What? Um, yes. You know that saying, rubbing people up the wrong way? I do it all of the time, unintentionally, as an autistic person. Um, Ricky, I had an interview recently with a job agency for autistics. It's called Auti Talent, and the interview went quite, oh, superb. Auti Talent. I mean, Ricky, you're in the Netherlands, aren't you? So I wonder whether there's an equivalent over here because I am desperate to do something else. I'm profoundly sad by what I have to do for a living. Profoundly sad. Um, and I can't get out. Um, so yeah, I wonder whether there's an equivalent there to making a mental note. Um, Medical context for fart noises. Thinking about how flutes are played. If your fart becomes musical, you might have hemorrhoids. Absolutely. Isn't there? Yeah, let's not go down that route. If your fart become, you might have hemorrhoid. I, I'll be honest, I've not managed to play green sleeves out of my arse yet. But when I do, when I do, I'll probably feel quite proud of it, to be honest. And then I remember Kayleen's comment, "Oh, crikey, I've got hemorrhoids." So there'll be two thoughts there. There'll be like, "How does green sleeves go?" Anyway, I'll fart. Green sleeves will come out of my arse. And my initial thought will be, hey, check me out. That was effortless. And then my second thought will be, oh no, I've got hemorrhoids. So I'll take the bad with the good, I suppose. Um, but I think Kaylee's been a lot more serious than I'm being. So yeah, if you are playing green sleeves out of your ass without even trying, you might have hemorrhoids. Get it checked out. Don't be proud. Um, Kitty in the garden. Hello, you've just joined, and I'm talking about farts again. Sorry. Happy Christmas. Good to see you. Academic Omnifarious. Good evening or good morning where I am. 10:46. I've got another 45 minutes before I need to go and watch Stranger Things. And if you were here at the start, you'll know what I'm talking about. Um, Meant to say, guy on Britain's Got Talent farted to music. That's what I was thinking of, and I abandoned the thought. So I'm glad I'm not the only one that was thinking about that. While shaking talcum powder, Simon Cowell was not amused. I think Simon Cowell was paid not to be amused. Um, yeah, or maybe it just wasn't very funny. I didn't see it. I just heard about it. I've seen something similar. Um, right, let me catch up. Oh, Lizzie's gone. Thanks for the recital, but she's gone. Fair enough. Good to see you anyway. Um, Sorry, catching up, everyone. Bear with me. It's farted, not darted. I'm darting through these comments, not farting through them. Um, Lee presumed it was the dressing gown that I imagine we were all probably wearing today. Yeah, he probably would have thought. He probably thought nothing of it. Like, oh, it's the morning in the UK. He's wearing a dressing gown. No, it's I don't even know what it's called. It's not a onesie. It's I can't remember. But you know, it goes down past my knees and it's got a hood and it's a I'm wearing a blanket, whatever that is. Um, Years ago, you could have Xmas dinner on the beach, but it's been cold in Spain at Christmas for years now. Really? Of course, you're in Spain, aren't you, Shona? I wonder what that. I mean, climate breakdown is in full flow. Wonder. Well, it's bound to have had an effect on the Spanish climate as well. Um, it's your clothes that create the different tones when farting. Good to know. So some clothes lead to a better sound quality. Is that right? So if you wear, I don't know, leather trousers and you're trying to squeeze one out, that leads to a purer sound? I don't know. We'll find out by experimenting in our own homes, I should emphasize. I am not going to share my own experimentations with pure fart noises on a live stream. That'll probably get me arrested for one thing. And if that's the content that you do want to see, go and find it elsewhere because I'm not providing it. I'm sure that that niche has been catered for somewhere. Every single niche you can think of in this planet, there's it. There's someone fulfilling that requirement, and I'm not. I'm odd, but I'm not that odd. I'm not going to do that. But it's good to know, Shona. If I'm really at a loose end, I've nothing to do, no YouTube videos, nothing, no day job. Kids are not living here anymore. Done the food shopping. My wife's gone to see friends. I don't want to read any books, don't want to watch any YouTube videos. I will lay out different pairs of trousers and shorts, or pants as you call them in the States, and I will make sure I've had lots of roughage, lots of foods that make me parp, and I shall test out the theory that clothes have an impact on the sound. I'll just replace one pair of trousers with another, go through, give them scores out of 10. Um, and I feel thoroughly ashamed afterwards for spending that time checking out fart noises by wearing different trousers. It'd be funny to do it though, but there would be a sort of a predictable sense of shame that would come with actually doing that thing. But if you've done it already, let me know whether I'm talking sense. If you've actually done that activity, worn different material trousers, pants, shorts to specifically test out the purity of the fart noise, If you've already done that, let me know. Did you feel a deep sense of shame, or were you immensely proud, or were you strangely indifferent to the whole experience? Let me know. Um, I studied psychology and interviewing for many years. I did it as part of my job for decades. And pretty good at it, but when I was being interviewed, apparently I was not. Yeah, I completely get you on that one, Bob. And hello, by the way. Yeah, I used to think it's bizarre because when I used to give this feedback to students when I did mock interviews. I did about 700 mock interviews. That's not a boast. It's just to give you an indication of um, how often I did this type of thing. That was my job, to talk about getting jobs. And when I look back at it, I'm like, people must have been laughing at me, like because they could sense that I'm autistic. Um, and there I was talking about being, how important it is to be relatable to other people. It's not just about having the skills for the job, but it's about being able to, they want to like you. They want to hire someone that they're going to like. And there was me, this nerdy autistic person who people didn't like because of my profile as a nerdy autistic person. Which is nothing wrong with that, by the way. It's just, but some people don't want that. So it was quite a strange dynamic for me to be pontificating about how to be good at interviews, and how to, best present yourself when going for interviews, when I was being judged while giving that message. So yeah, totally with you on that one, Bob. It sucks really. Um, Let me just catch up. Oh my word, I am behind. Um, what about farting and Alexa thinks you're humming a tune when she plays it? Oh, that'd be brilliant. That. I haven't got an Alexa, so I've not tested that out. I'd feel less shameful about doing that. Just "Burp, Alexa, what am I playing?" I could, wouldn't feel so shameful about that. If you have done that, let me know. Did it detect green sleeves coming out your ass or not? Mark, we are dog sitting over Christmas, and he drops people in it. They try and squeeze out a sign at one. Blatantly goes up. Oh, that is fantastic. So the the dog seeks out the smell. Oh, how mortifying is that? How mortifying. You think you've got away with it. Just slightly adjust yourself in your chair. So, gently raise an arse cheek. You know, think that you've got away with it. Everyone's having a good old conversation, and a dog rushes towards your bum. Oh, brilliant. Brilliant when it happens to someone else, not brilliant when it happens to you. Superb. Cheers, Mark. That's probably made my day. Hoodie, dry robe. Hoodie, that's the one. Thank you, Kitty. It's an hoodie. This is an hoodie. Thank you. Um, Academic on the ferrets. Blanket with a hood. That is more special than a blanket. You are absolutely correct, sir. It is more special than a blanket because it also has a hood. It's just brilliant. I'm so pleased with it. Um, Shona, when my partner farts, I have to laugh, then open the windows, then threaten to open my ostomy bag, but I'd never do that. That would be rude. That is some threat. Um, yeah, I bet that puts him right in his place, him or her, in her place. You know what I'm trying to say. I hope they are put in their place by you threatening to get out your ostomy bag. That is some comeback. Fair play. Um, Lovely hoodie. I bought a Primark hoodie for 20 quid a few years ago. Best 20 quid I've ever spent on clothes. Nice one. Um, yeah, is that a very common autistic trait to, treasure items of clothing? My wife was teasing me yesterday. Um, I was speaking with my dad on the phone, v- uh, what do you call it? Video call. Oh God, I'm being dense today. And yeah, she said, "Oh, he won't get rid of those trousers, those joggers that I bought him years ago." And she's correct. And they're really bad. They've lost the elasticity, so they sag and perch on my bony hips for dear life. And it's not good to watch me stroll around the house in these jogging bottoms that are way past their sell by date, use by date, but they're really comfy. So I retain them and I will keep wearing them until I find them in a smouldering pile outside the house because my wife's finally had enough of it and burnt them. Sanford yesterday was also very flatulent. Yeah, let's talk about farting again. Um, yeah, I had to, I had to, um, yeah, go to a different room. I had to go to a different room to, you know, do do the thing, play green sleeves out of my arse. It wasn't green sleeves, it was more like Norwegian death metal. Huh, I'm going to rejoin the family now. Um, so yeah, if you've not heard Norwegian death metal, well, now you don't need to because it's basically what I've just done there and what I did yesterday through a different orifice. That's it. So yeah, fortunate enough to have a selection of rooms in the house. Not that I'm rich, I'm not rich at all, but the house has fallen apart. But there are various rooms that I can, you know, creep into to yeah, unload, shall we say? Because it wouldn't have been pleasant at Christmas. You know, I mean, my daughter and my son were playing chess because they got a new chessboard as a joint present. And if I'd not gone to a different room and did what I needed to do, that chess game that they'd spent ages playing, that would have been wiped out in a second because I just would have blown it all over. And I don't need that sort of stress on Christmas Day. Oh, Dad, I was winning that. You just blown it all away. So yeah, that's one reason why I had to leave. See, I'm a considerate dad. I don't fart when my kids are playing chess. Some people wouldn't care less about farting during chess. There's a poem, isn't it? Um, there's a French professional flatulist, not flautist, flatulist called Le Pitomain, who could apparently imitate musical instruments. Well, surely he could imitate most of the brass instruments, but can you mimic a violin out your bottom? Again, not a phrase I thought I would say today, but here we are. Alexa plays the door. Teddy swims the door to a fart. Does she? Hi, Juju. Good to see you. I'm here for another half an hour, so we're all good. Showing you another thing now. Good. It's Christmas. Time for joy and lots of references to farts, clearly. I want to make a patch quilt with little bits of all my favorite clothes I've ever had, then wrap myself. That's a great idea. Yeah, one thing I'd like to be good at is sewing. I've never been good at that. Um, but I really appreciate people who can make clothes, or patterns on material. I was on the train. I went to see the Back to the Future musical in London, central London, last week. Seems like a long time ago now, but oh my word, it was incredible. Um, I was the stereotypical sort of skeptical dad. No, is it going to be good like the film? I'll believe it when I see it. Oh yes, it was. Oh no, it wasn't. It was. The car came off the stage. You can't get more impressive than that. Um, oh my word. Back to the Future, the musical, just just amazing. And anyway, what I really wanted to say was on the train there to London to Euston, I saw a couple, middle-aged female couple knitting on the train, and like really fast, but talking at the same time, which almost as impressive as this car coming off the stage to me. I'm like, wow, how'd you do that? I can't do two things at once. They're like, jumper or sweater, as you might say in the States. So, yeah, I would love to do that show, and I'd love to like, make a patch quilt. All my favorite things. Oh, wonderful. Maybe I should suggest that to, well, put a bit of pressure on my family. Do you know what I want for Christmas next year? I want a patch quilt with little bits of all my favorite clothes I've ever had. Would you do that for me? Please? Maybe. Or just go to Primark. Um, Kitty Gun just nearly dropped your favorite mug. Time for a cut. Oh, I hope I wasn't the cause of that. Sorry about that. I'm not here to help you break things. It's the exact opposite of what I've just said. That's why I'm here. So please don't break things. Finnish death metal is good. Yeah, what, Katie, why have I not done a deep dive into Finnish death metal? You've got Norwegian death metal, you've got Swedish black metal, and now I'm finding out about Finnish death metal. Um, Surely there's going to be some sort of Estonian death metal that I just haven't realized. Like Baltic state death metal, black metal. I know um, Russian cold wave. Yeah, dig that Russian cold wave. You've got you know, early mid 80s or mid 80s. By the time Russia caught up with cold wave, yeah, 84, 85. To really sparse keyboards that quite Joy Division inspired, but Joy Division with synths, but very basic synths. It's probably the most succinct description of cold wave I've ever given. Joy Division with basic synths equals Russian cold wave. Uh, if I had eternal life, that's what I would do. I would just go around every single country, not literally, just like Google every single country and find out about all the musical. This is a very autistic thing to want to do, I appreciate, but yeah, I'm guessing you're autistic, so you can empathize. And I'd go around the whatever it is, 204 countries in the world. I really ought to know that number. And you know, just to find out what music genres are predominant within those specific countries. And if I had eternal life, I would do a deep dive into all of them. Sounds like fun to me. So, but I haven't got eternal life, so I just have to grab what I can and find out that Finnish death metal is good, thanks to Kayleen, who's in Melbourne, Australia. I mean, I know for a fact that Melbourne, Australia has an amazing music scene. I reviewed an artist from Melbourne, Australia, um, earlier this year, because if you don't know already, um, I write music reviews because I love music, and I reviewed the album by Merpire. She's great. Check it out. Check out the album. FaceTime, that's what I meant. Sorry, everyone. I'm behind. I'm behind. I'm behind. Um, Let me catch up in the chat. Do bear with me, everyone. Um, Deleting your posts, you can't type that. Make no worries, Shona. Andrea, hello. Sorry, I'm a bit behind. Hello. Merry Christmas. Um, I think you'll need to call this video mostly farting chat. Yeah, maybe I will. Boxing Day live stream. Boxing Day fart stream. There we are. Done. I can go in after in 25 minutes or so. I can edit the title, I think, and Boxing Day fart stream. People will go, what? I'm going to watch that back. That sounds irresistible. And then they press play and they see that it's a pasty faced middle aged man wearing a quilt, trying really hard to be funny. You're like, "Oh, I'm not watching the rest of that. I'll watch something else." So who knows? Maybe I will change it. I watched Matilda the musical yesterday. How big could am I? Brilliant. I bet it was really, really, really good fun. You watched Matilda the musical on DVD, on telly, or did you actually see it in the flesh? I went to the not to show off, just to info dump, overshare. I went to the Adelphi on the Strand in central London. Now, normally central London, or central London, it was stressful because it's too busy. Covent Garden, it was my idea to go to Covent Garden, but it was very Christmassy. I wanted my daughter to see it, wanted both my kids to see it. So Covent Garden was very Christmassy, but very busy. Um, but it's not so bad when, well, speaking for myself, not so bad when I know where we're going. Like, we need to get from there to there to there. And if there's lots of people in between those points, then I will grin and bear it. But when I'm just in a crowd, in a busy place like central London, and I don't know what the destination is, that is truly stressful. So, but anyway, the Adelphi, and you wouldn't think it when you're outside, but it's enormous. It's 3 levels, like everything in London, like everything in a big city is like the normal thing times five. It's ridiculously big. And yeah, go to the Adelphi if you have the opportunity. Wasn't cheap, but you know, it was a one-off. But yeah, Matilda the musical, I'd be up for that. We love Back to the Future in my family. I, how can you not like Back to the Future? I said this about, what did I say it about? Oh, Home Alone. I don't think I've met anyone that said something along the lines of Home Alone, that's overrated. Like, what? What? What are you talking about? You utter misery. I know people are entitled to their opinions, but some opinions are just so bizarre. Lots of opinions about autistic people, and I'm trying to think of an example. Um, just so bizarre. You can't believe that people have these opinions. Um, Home Alone is not a good film. Discuss. What? It might not be the best film ever, but it's just a big bag of fun. Chill out. Back to the Future. Surely that's universally loved. How can you not like Back to the Future? I know. Well, it wasn't very plausible, was it? Well, I'm autistic and I like logic and I like things to make sense. But I don't watch Back to the Future for a film because I want to watch a film that makes sense. I'd soon be put out if that was my objective of watching Back to the Future. I'm like, time travel isn't real. What? Oh, there are plenty of plot holes there. What? Not for me, thanks. Hmm. Is it a big bag of fun? Yes, it is. Okay, I'll carry on watching. God, blimey. Sorry, I got a bit passionate there about Back to the Future. But honestly, if someone said to me, and I was in a group of people, and they were, Back to the Future is rubbish, isn't it? I'd probably struggle to like contain my views. Like, why I oughta. No, I wouldn't use violence, but I'd be feeling the heart rate would climb. Like, what? Is there a bad word to say about Back to the Future? I mean, actually, thinking that out loud about Back to the Future, um, yeah, this it's quite sexist actually a couple of times. Yeah, I suppose they're riffing on the whole sort of 1950s attitude, but even so, like, no, yeah, it's not a flawless film. Um, you're looking at it through the prism of a 2025 woke lens. Woke meaning being nice to people, treating them equally. Um, yeah, Back to the Future, not a flawless film, of course. Some dodgy moments, and generally the idea that you can and I'm not going to claim credit for this observation. I had to read about it. Someone much more clever than I am said, actually, the problem with Back to the Future is, if you want to analyze it on this level, is that it perpetuates this like sort of Reagan Thatcher idea that, if you show enough desire, you will achieve what you want to achieve. And that's all you need. And that's obviously rubbish, because we need each other to achieve what we want to achieve. Society is real. And by perpetuating this idea that you just need to have the willpower to achieve what you want to achieve, doesn't take into account privilege, prejudice, and nepotism, and the fact that we're all connected. So it's actually nonsense to say that if you put your mind to it, you can do it, and pretend that that's all you need. That's nonsense. But that's the message that Back to the Future perpetuates. And I appreciate it's not the only film that will broadcast that view. But yeah, someone more clever than me wrote that, and I did agree with it afterwards. I was like, yeah, that's a good point. That, but still, cool, fast car. Let's not get too deep about it. That car is amazing, and I don't even like cars, but I'm obsessed with the DeLorean. So yeah, sorry, I went on about Back to the Future way too much just then. Let me catch up. Du- 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 du. Um, do bear with me. It's good that I put in comments sometimes because it's kind of bookmarks the chat. Um, have I ever heard James Acast's podcast about music from 2016? It's great. No, I haven't. I really ought to, Kitty. Um, Coincidentally, I did pick up when I was Christmas shopping, very late Christmas shopping. I did pick up his book, James Acaster, which was about him um, doing a deep dive into music from 2016. So thank you for that because I love James Acaster. I think he's brilliant. Um, really interested. I was just dipping into this book, and he was a Christian up until quite late in life, um, in his early 20s, I think. Really interesting guy. So thank you. I watched a YouTube video of James Acaster, um, with an American chap. Can't remember the name of it, and he was what snagged me. What got me interested in the first place was him talking about Bo Burnham. Bo Burnham, I absolutely love. And saying how Bo Burnham's inside during lockdown was so good that James Acaster considered quitting stand-up comedy, and uh, and I understand completely why he might have thought that because Bo Burnham is an absolute genius. But I'm glad that James Acaster changed that mindset and is still doing stand-up and still writing. He's a gift. James Acaster and Bo Burnham uh, are both gifts to the world. So yeah, thank you. I really ought to check that one out. Um, I fall in love with Amel and the Sniffers, Aussie pub rock punk band. Yeah, I'm still trying to get into Amel and the Sniffers. I have to confess. I know they're a bit of a joke band, but yeah, they're quite popular in the UK. So yeah, Amel and the Sniffers again. Check them out. Um, Greetings from Finland. Oh, Andrew, you're in Finland, of course. You prefer British post-punk than Finnish death metal. Yeah, I really enjoy some death metal, um, despite having compared it to flatulence. Um, but I do like a melody, and post-punk. Trying to think of bands. Like, I really like Killing Joke, um, who are still going, I believe. They lost their guitarist Geordie 2 or 3 years ago, maybe longer. Yeah, British post-punk. I'm with you on that one. Because even though it can be quite harsh, there are melodies there. So yeah, I'm a struggle with death metal. They seem to forsake the melodies, in lieu of screaming. So yeah. Um, Sorry about the Boxing Day Fartstream. Yeah, it's got to be done, isn't it? See if anyone notices other than you guys. Like, people casually flicking through on YouTube, and then the algorithm, if it's working in my favor, will boost my my boxing thumbnail And people will initially think Boxing Day live stream, and then I go, sorry, what was that? Boxing Day fart stream? So maybe I should do it. Okay. If I've got the technical know-how to re-edit, I will do that. Academic omniferent. I've got to go to bed. Oh, sorry, you've gone. Oh, sorry, this is the problem. But I get carried away and I miss out on comments. Well, if you're still here, have a fantastic New Year as well. Surely you watched it on the telly. Oh, that makes sense. I doubt very many theatres were open yesterday and Christmas Day. I might be wrong. Watched the Muppet Christmas Carol. Sets me right and ready for. I do like that. It's been years since I watched it though. I think the genius of the Christmas Carol is it's such a compelling story that you can do it in any format. When you can do it with stuffed toys, and it's still going to work. It's just such a solid plot line, isn't it? Sorry, that sounded horribly earnest, but I've said it now. Um, what is the apothecary at Covent Garden in the early 90s to get out? I don't know. Um, I really don't know. And I thought in Covent Garden you could walk on the top level and look down at all the stalls. Um, but I think that access has been stopped. And it's funny you mentioned the early 90s because I think that's when I was there. I think my stepdad worked at the Royal Opera House. I don't know what he was doing there because he was in the construction industry. Maybe he was building something. I don't know. Um, and yeah, I could have sworn that you could do like a sort of a bird's eye view on Covent Garden, but we weren't able to do that this time round. So lots will have changed, obviously, in 35 years. One thing I'm going to mention that I really loved about the experience at Covent Garden was a guy. There was an opera singer, and he was sort of down, sort of in the basement part. There's a restaurant, people drinking mulled wine and whatever, and he had they didn't have like they don't have like a cap like in the old days, like people busking. They have like a cap, so you put the pound coins in, or if you're stingy like I am, put in a 50p pence, 50p pence, 50p coin. I think he had a little like little card machine, which is becoming more and more the norm these days. So if you want to tip someone or you know donate whatever, you just put your card. So he was there to earn money, but I didn't see very many people, myself included. Um, Shame on me. I had an excuse. My family didn't want to hang around. Um, so we weren't there for like the whole set. I could just hear him and then saw him briefly, and he did Nessun Dorma, the Pavarotti Italia 90 classic, and he was incredible. And I actually thought I want to go and see opera. Probably the first time I've ever had that thought in my life. So yeah, Covent Garden, wow. Um, Andrew, I ate some plums, so inevitably I will join the Boxing Day farting party later. Yeah, farting party. That's got a nice ring to it. There's a horrible joke there about rings. So I'm not going to go there. Or maybe I already have. I don't know. You tell me. Um, Richter, you're that one person who doesn't like Home Alone, and you must be at home alone while everyone else is watching Home Alone, I guess. Or is that just a very silly thing to say? I'm sorry that you don't like it. You're obviously entitled to that view. I'm just struggling to understand it. But we're all human, we're all different, and fair play for confessing. My confession is I don't like Home Alone. No, it's nothing to be sad about. Or yeah, you do you. Sorry to make such a big play and how much I like it. Um, Good thing about living in Fulham, London, was being close to Hammersmith Odeon. Been to some great gigs there. I'll call you in Fulham. Wow, I've never lived in London, but yeah. But obviously, benefit of being in London or any big space, New York, or anywhere of that scale, you've got everything, every amenity possible, I imagine. Um, I found out that Red exists, that I can watch it tonight. You found out that Red exists. Or was that a spoiler? Is that Stranger Things thing? Because I struggle to keep up with Stranger Things. Anything. Um, I watched episode 5, which my family are watching as I'm doing this, and I'm just like a cat listening to opera. I'm like, uh, right, what's going on? I don't know what's going on. Oh, whiz bang, explosions. Hey, oh, bad guy. I think they're good. Bad versus evil, evil versus good. Yay! I'm a plot way over my head. So probably why I like Home Alone, films like that, 'cause they're not really that complex. Oren, hello, good morning. Sorry, you've been here for a few minutes already. Um, oh, you might have already gone because you've got to get back to work. Well, we'll catch up on email another time if you're not here anymore. Hello, Merry Christmas. Andrew, you watch Home Alone every Christmas. It's a fun movie and very Christmassy. Yeah, although we've not watched it this Christmas, but there is time left. Christmas doesn't end until the 6th of January, if I remember correctly. Um, I love watching returns of movies. Yeah, something very comforting about watching movies again and again. Again, autistic repetition, predictability. I haven't watched Klaus yet this Christmas, which I said I would in the video that I made about Christmas. And I suggested it yesterday to my family, and all three of them went, "No, I've seen it before." So I'm gonna, if I am gonna watch Klaus this Christmas, it's going to be on my own. So yeah. Oh well. Um, I love Back to the Future. Good man. It's a funny coincidence. I'd been thinking of Back to the Future yesterday. Yeah, I was going to make a dreadful reference to traveling back in time, but yeah, I'm just going to abandon that one. I think about it possibly more than I should. Not prompted by anything, just think, oh, that's a good film. Um, Let me catch up here. Bear with me, everyone. Oh, we're getting there. Um, Lee, thanks. I've struggled with the word woke, what it means. It's one of those words where the meaning seems to flip like one of those car colours. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? I'm one of my favourite things to do, which is a really, yeah, it's not a boast. It's probably shows you what a time waster I am. Uh, I think my New Year's resolution, one of them should be to just not go on Facebook because it just drains me and makes me hate life. And one reason why it makes me hate life so much is that lots and lots of people use woke as a sort of a pejorative term, like, oh, that's so woke. One of my favorite things to do is to just ask them what is woke, and I never get a good response. Well, you're you're a stupid lefty. Um, blah, blah, blah. I just get just awful, just people, just some people, are just awful people, just awful, awful people. Um, Someone said to me yesterday, "You're a psychopath and your kids should be taken away from you." I'm like, that's one way of disagreeing with an opinion. I can think of literally millions more ways that you could have responded to my comment, but you chose that one. Out of all the millions of ways to respond to my comment, you chose that evil response, and you call me a psychopath. Okie doke. What's woke, by the way? Oh, and never, never, never reply. Woke is being nice and respectful. No wonder some people don't want to define it, because if they were to define what woke is, they would be confessing that they're not a nice person. So there we are, I've cracked it. Seth Meyers, I think. What a segue that was. Guided by Angels is a great song. Cool. Is Stranger Things good? It is exceedingly good. Even if, like me, you don't quite understand what everything that's going on, because there was a lot going on. It's just mind-bendingly creative. I love the 80s references. So if you're older like me, older than what? You know what I mean? If you're in your 30s, 40s, really, I think you would especially appreciate the 80s references. The special effects, which I'm usually not that fussed about, but I've spoken about Back to the Future, which is obviously stacked full of special effects. Um, just the acting is just beyond, just such good acting. Yeah, I'm evangelical about Stranger Things. My daughter got me into it. I like most things that are popular. I caught up much later on, and yeah, go and watch it. It's brilliant. It's really, really good. Um, couldn't get into the first few episodes of Strange Things. Yeah, I think actually series one was my favorite, but I think that's probably because it was easier to follow. It's more about people and less about monsters. Um, yeah, I really enjoyed series one. So, but yeah, fair enough. About Home Alone, I just don't find the character of the boy very likable. Oh, yeah, I get that. I do get that. Yeah, Macaulay Culkin, not like all the violence. Yeah, it's actually a really violent film, Home Alone. If you've not seen it, which I'm sure you have. Yeah, that's it's not good, is it? You got me thinking now. Maybe next time, if I do this a live stream next Christmas, I will have done a complete U-turn and start saying how much I dislike Home Alone. So you've got me thinking, Ricotic. Yeah, fair play. That was a totally sound comment. Um, Showing it in London until 2000, came to Spain. Oh, cool. I also did a big move in 2000. I went to university in 2000. So yeah, nice. Like round number, good year to start afresh, I think. That's what I thought at the time. So year 2000, I'm starting afresh, and you did the same. I read as a movie. Sorry, Gigi, I'm clueless. And I'm going to wrap up shortly. Um, Anyone seen Chasing Abby, the band? No, I have not, but I have to write it down. I need to make a note to self to check Amyl Sniffers again. Bear with everyone. Chasing. Oh no, actually, did someone recommend Chasing Abby? Was it you, Shona? Maybe I've just forgotten about that. Sorry. Um, Gigi's that the extremely dangerous movie. Red One Christmas is also excellent. I'll have to check that out as well. When's Klaus on? I've got IPTV. I don't think Klaus is scheduled to make an appearance. I think it's just in the Netflix archives. Am I right in that? I don't know. Um, You're here for another 10, 15 minutes while I eat breakfast. Well, I'm going to not be here for another 10, 15 minutes because I'm going to bring this to a close very shortly because I'm going to watch Stranger Things episode 6, season 5. Um, so yeah, sorry about that. Sorry if you're strapping in, making yourself comfortable, anticipating, you know, much more of my nonsense. But I'm going to wrap up shortly. Not fond of face puke. I complain to see over what? Never heard of that. Um, Santa being abducted. Ooh, I'm intrigued. Um, it wasn't you suggesting chasing Abby for someone else, maybe. I might just be making that memory up, showing up. So yeah, forgive me. Um, okay, that's that's me caught up with the chat, unless I've missed any vital points. See, my need for completion. This is why when I go out, very rarely go out for a drink or whatever. I overanalyze the night out that I've had because I want to, in my head, make sure that it all made sense. Autistic brain. So when I do the live streams, it really hurts me to miss out on comments because I don't want people to feel left out. So if it's irritating to you to see me endlessly scroll up and down on the comments and try and catch up and respond to them all out of order, it's because I need that sense of completion. It needs to make sense. So I don't want to offend anyone. That's why I'm doing it. So, so yeah, sorry. The trade-off is that it's irritating for you, but I don't want to miss anyone out. Um, Jan Hadu, am I mispronouncing that probably? Goodbye, Buira Jury, and enjoy your view. Thank you, Kaylee, and thank you for your lovely emails. And I hope that the political landscape in Australia improves. Think of us in the UK as well. I'm terrified, but then I always am. I'm autistic in a neurotypical world. So, but yeah, it's not great when the far right are doing their thing. But we've got time to get our act together and hopefully stop them running the country. That's our Stranger Things battle, good versus evil, stopping the far right in the UK and a bunch of well-meaning lefties trying to change not the world, just this country. Thanks, Neil. I enjoyed it. It was like having an invited visitor. Um, Absolutely. Thank you, Shona. Thank you again for your emails as well, your lovely comments, your all your support. I've had a really good time and just over an hour and a half. It's felt like 5 minutes. Just been absolute brilliant fun. Um, Sorry to keep talking about farts all the time. I've just done it again. But, it's just a bit of silliness, just a bit of fun on Christmas, on Boxing Day. Doing that thing that I said I would do, checking all the comments. Thank you, Chickad. Um, yeah, with or without gas. What a blast we've had. See, dad joke there in context of flatulence. I'll wait for the laughter. No, can't hear it because you're in different countries in the world. Um, Thanks for the stream. Thank you, Kitty. Thank you, Juju, Shona. Thank you, everyone. I'm not going to manage to mention everyone's name. 17 people here. Blimey. It's like Wembley Stadium. Um, so yeah, thank you, everyone. I hope you're having a fun Boxing Day. Thank you for making this one light-hearted. Rickety, you got me thinking about Home Alone. Maybe I should reappraise that one. You've got a very good point there about that film. Um, Back to the Future. See, I'm starting to reassess that one as well. But come on, flying cars. That's just wicked. And I don't even like cars. So yeah. Um, Thank you, Mark. Yep, thank you, everyone. So I will hope to do another live stream. Not won't be before New Year. I don't think so anyway. Um, Not sure what my next video is going to be about. I've got loads of ideas in my Word document. Shona, I know you suggested something that I've forgotten about now, but it's in the Word document. So any thoughts, suggestions, and I'm doing what I do at the end of my videos. But part of what I do, just to cap it off, is to invite you to be part of the YouTube video making, because without your suggestions and support, I just won't do it anymore. No pressure. Stick around, everyone. Thank you, Warren. Cool. Yeah, have a great rest of the Christmas with your family, all of you. Oren, any band recommendations? I'm looking at you, Oren, in particular, but all of you, I'm sure, have got suggestions to make about music. Let me know any autism sources, any books that I should be reading, any poems that I should be reading. Just let me know, because that's what I'm here for as well. So I'm going to do this really embarrassing thing that I do in the live stream, a countdown, because I just can't do a bye and then stop the live stream. I just don't know why I can't do it. Yeah, stay safe, everyone. Um, Merry Christmas. See you next year, probably. And I'm going to do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye.